You're listening to The Pop by Dr. Shané, the Pursuit of Peace podcast, where I'm your host, Dr. Shané Petit of SP Consulting Group, where our mission is to bring your vision to life. Join us as we have various discussions that focus on purpose, vision, strategy, and transformation on this pursuit of peace in our daily lives. Hello. It is Friday, January 29th. Will you believe it? We made it through the first month of the first year past the pandemic. And guess what? We're still in a pandemic. Oh my goodness. But no, so today we're going to be talking about a few things. First, I want to thank you guys for always being here to check out what's going on in our pursuit of peace. For those that haven't listened to prior podcast episodes, feel free, but that is what the POP stands for, Pursuit of Peace. And when we're on this pursuit of peace, we talk about a number of things as it pertains to work-life balance and how we can have peace in the midst of whatever storm comes our way. So, we've been getting questions. How can we avoid the shiny object syndrome, so to speak, and really be okay where we are in our process of leading? And guess what? Tomorrow, Saturday, January 30th at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 o'clock Central Time, wherever you are in the U.S. If you're listening to this internationally, we will be on all podcast platforms talking about what we're going to do to lead into 2021. How we're going to do this on purpose, how we're going to do this from a space of trusting the process. A lot of times we get stressed out because we just move too fast. We don't absorb what it is that we need to absorb as it pertains to the basics of leadership, as it pertains to the basics of being a people leader. Whatever level of leadership you're on, we have to be in the space of trusting the process, because in the process, we become shapen. We are groomed for that next level. I don't know of any impactful leader that stays stagnant. And we want to talk a little bit about that, even though you guys are going to get a lot more detail if you show up to the webinar. You can go on to, whether it's my LinkedIn page, Facebook page, just look for at the SPC group. Okay. And that's where you'll find me. So we're going to be talking about today a little bit about what we're going to dive deeper in tomorrow during that webinar, which is free. I love to give out my free tokens and notes and value added information. So let's talk about it. What is it like to be still? You know, sometimes a lot of us don't know what that means, just to be still. And those of us that do know how to be still, are we doing it with intention? Are we doing it with a purpose attached to that stillness? Are we paying attention to our ability to accept where we are, be aware of where we are, appreciate where we are, and attend to it? Support it, grow it. As I like to tell a lot of my clients, marinate in where you are in the moment, because you never know what that moment is trying to teach you, especially if you're in the midst of a storm, or as many of us are experiencing the midst of a pandemic. You know, we want to be able to grow and continue to thrive and not be in a place of stagnation. That isn't what life is about. The human experience is dynamic. We want to make sure that we are paying attention to that, not getting lost in the sauce, so to speak, right? Not getting lost in the craziness that's going on, the hectic life. How we are cultivating a place of peace in each moment. Some of you may have listened to some of my previous series where we just focused on mindfulness. And that's where we need to be, right? We need to be in a place where we are mindful in the moment, appreciating the moment, because that's all we really have. Even when we're faced with a lot of grief and loss, a lot of people are dealing with that, whether it's the grief and loss of what was normal before, the grief and loss of freedoms that have been impeded upon, freedoms that have been completely taken away, depending on what side of the world you're on or which state you're in. We need to find peace. And when you are accepting where you are, there's so much that you can get out of it. So many jewels, or like I like to say, so many golden nuggets of being okay with where you are and not operating from a place of lack. Yes, I said it. We are always on the go, always trying to find the next best thing when we haven't realized how to refine and make better what it is that was best a while ago, that we just never fed. We never paid attention to it. We weren't aware of how much it truly guides us. Coming from a place of, again, mind, body, spirit, even as a leader, where are you mentally with forecasting? And maybe some of you need to do some post-mortem planning, right? Where you really take that opportunity to say, if everything fell apart, what would be my hindsight in this moment? How can I make sure that I am planning, cultivating, attending to, and growing what's happening in this moment? And if there is any place of true lack, whether it's the lack of peace, whether it's the lack of joy, how can we make a decision to be intentional? Yes, intentions mean a lot. We need to intentionally focus on the growth process and where we are in this moment in order to be able to trust that there is a process, that there is a step that we're going to take once we have learned what we were intended to learn in this moment. You have to ask yourself, if I'm not learning anything, if I'm not growing in any way, what am I doing? Because that's not thriving. Oh no, that's not thriving. When you're in a space of growth and that you're actually thriving, movement is happening. You're not stationary. You're not sitting here, or there on a couch, just sitting, doing absolutely nothing. And for some of you, it's even the realization that when you are, as I mentioned a little earlier, if you are actually doing nothing, what is that doing for you? Are you resetting? Are you getting rejuvenated? Are you getting to a place where you're reigniting and refueling? Or are you just sitting? According to, just your basic Oxford dictionary, it says stagnation is having no current flow. No current or flow. And often having an unpleasant sequence. Showing no activity. Dull. Sluggish. How many out here need a nice quick buffer? How many out here need to shine in places that you thought it was time to move away from? If you're in a place of stagnation where you are motionless, you're inactive, you aren't living. You're not living. And that's where we're saying when you're going into 2021, you want to be in a place where you are living on purpose. What is purpose? We hear about this all the time, right? Purpose-driven life. But then when we talk about stagnation and we see the other side of purpose, we say, okay, purpose is a reason for which you are even existing, right? It's really the reason for which something or someone was created for? What is your purpose? What is the motive? What is the underlining backdrop to who you are? And when you are living on purpose, then there is a greater understanding for what it means to trust the process. You know that there's a reason for your existence. You know that there is something greater than the daily grind. It's something bigger. And I don't even have to really say more on that because you've probably already dealt with managing the itch. You're searching. People are looking for meaning, but the meaning might be in your purpose. Your purpose might be hidden in the corners of things that you've already noticed yourself to be passionate about. How does your purpose align with your passion? Think about that. Things that you're passionate about may not be things that you are doing to make money, but we're looking beyond that. How do you trust the process if you don't have a purpose? Now, that's something that may require some space of meditation, some time to get quiet. And, whether it is on that couch that you normally would just veg out on, where you take that time to say, you know what, when it's all said and done, I really want to understand what the point is. And sometimes that takes some introspection. And what is that? I've mentioned that before when we talk about emotional intelligence, when we've talked about being in a space where you can be very self-aware of who you are. By digging deeper, study yourself, spend time with yourself. Some people were getting stir crazy at the beginning of this pandemic just because you hadn't spent much time with yourself. You don't even know what it is that you enjoy doing. And this may sound weird for some, but it's quite clear for others. What is it that you like? That's different from what you were told that you like. Some of you have been in relationships where you've been catering to the relationship and not necessarily thinking specifically on what it is that you want for yourself. Like you can even be on this journey of self-love. How do I fall in love with myself? Well, how do you love something or someone that you don't know? Think about it. Take some time. That a lot of times is the reason why you are anxious. You're anxious to move forward and be in a certain position or have a certain level of authority in your workspace or have a certain credibility level in society or in the world, however, your scope is as it relates to followership. Let's think about it. You can definitely take the time to be aware and appreciate where you are now, because it's going to be difficult for you to thrive and have sustainable results in your journey, in your leadership journey, and in your life journey, in your business journey. If you are so busy trying to one up someone, you're so busy trying to get another follower, like you're watching that number as it grow or as it goes away, depending on, tapping into your niche. If you don't tap into your niche and you're just speaking just out of, I'm passionate about this topic, but it isn't directed at anybody, you've heard the saying. If you are, really focusing and have your focus pertaining to everybody, then you're essentially supporting anybody. But guess what? The end of that saying is that then you are for no one. Let me say that again. if you are so busy trying to chase something as opposed to refining who you are as a leader, as someone that people look up to, and you're really then focusing in, okay, business wise, who am I going to work with? If you're not in tune with your purpose and who you are driven to impact, then you are driven to impact everybody, anybody at the same time, nobody at all. You've probably heard that before, but put it into context where we're talking about making sure that you trust the process, making sure that you're leading on purpose. How are you doing that? How are you making sure that you do that if you're so focused on like things that really don't even matter? People that aren't waiting for the message that you're carrying. When you're living on purpose, your purpose is going to impact certain people, certain groups. It might be a nice word for a lot of people, but the people that need to hear from you, they're not everybody. They're not anybody. You have to be in tune with that thing. You have to really lead on purpose. People don't have the time for nonsense. People don't have the time or the resources to waste. What can you do to sit still long enough to be refined, to raise your threshold, to learn, to accept, and draw attention to what it is that you're actually meant to do for the people you're meant to impact so that life can have more meaning? Because everybody essentially is going to be doing what they need to be doing. Because the person that's going to hear what it is that they need to hear from you are also going to then walk in their purpose. Because it's going to ignite something in them. Regardless of politics, regardless of all the distractions, regardless of this pandemic, people still need to hear from you. And that's for everybody that's listening to this. And when you are trusting the process, you're not rushing it. When you're trusting the process, you're waiting on that time to be perfect. You're waiting on that unction to say, you know what, I need to learn this pocket of information. Ooh, I need to dabble into this certificate program. Ooh, I need to go back and finish that degree. Oh, I need to go back and get a degree so that I am able to spark the interest of those that have been waiting for me the whole time. Trust and believe it. Going at the pace that your purpose would have you go allows you to walk into what it is that you're supposed to do. Trusting the process allows you to be patient with yourself, knowing that the people that are to hear from you, regardless of if it's 1 million followers, 1,000 followers, or 1, they need to hear from you. You jump ahead of the game, you're going to miss something. So sit still. Just because things are going on so quickly around us, the days seem to be moving faster and faster and faster. Don't succumb to the anxiety that will push you in that direction and have you miss your mark. Because that essentially is going to make someone else miss theirs because they're only going to get half of the message when they would have otherwise gotten the whole message if you had just trusted the process, right? So let's be in a place of acceptance. We're not going to operate from a place of lack and allow anxiety and the rabbit hole type of thinking and cognitive distortions to keep us from being where we need to be. Regardless of if you're black, white, any other race, ethnicity, culture, position, perspective, lifestyle, it doesn't matter. Focus on what your purpose is in 2021 because time is moving faster for a reason. It is time for you to not accept and take on and live in a place of lack, but in a place of attention, clarity, awareness, and acceptance of where you are so that you can be prepared along the way for where you're going. I hope I caught your attention. I hope I was able to ignite something in you, but let's get to it, folks. And if you want to hear more about this, let's do it. Meet me over in the Zoom room for my free webinar, complimentary. It's on me, January 30th. That's Saturday, tomorrow, January 30th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Central time, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? The link you can find if you catch me on my business page on Facebook, on my personal professional page, and LinkedIn. Just check me out. Find me by typing in at the SPC group, or you can email me. Go to my website, www.officialspconsultinggroup.com. Go to the Get Connected page, send me a message and say, hey, when is that again? Where's the link? Send it to me. I couldn't find it. I'm not usually on Facebook. I'll give you the link to Zoom. Okay? Just check it out. All right. Take care. See you soon. Stay safe.